Hey pen pals, Tom here at Goldspot. I've got for you a unboxing unlike any other. This is a brand new set from Lamy and Neolabs. This is a digital writing set featuring everybody's favorite starter pen, the Lamy Safari, plus a special notebook that goes with this pen, and it allows you to bring your writing to digitize it to the cloud. So let's open it up and take a look. So this is a true unboxing because, as you see, this set has even the shrink wrapping on it. So I am going to take this apart here. I don't have any fancy knife or anything to do this with, so I'm just opening up along the seam. Our sales rep, John, had brought this to a meeting of ours, and watching him take notes during the meeting, I was just like, what is it that you're using? It's like, well, it's a good thing that you asked because it's a new Lamy Neolab collaboration. So this pen is actually not made in Germany. This was designed by Lamy in Germany, but made in South Korea with collaboration of Neolab, of course. So it's got a two-part box here. Ooh, very, very fancy. So we have the pen is set into the frame, I guess you could say, and we have the notebook and then a USB cable because this pen is electrified. It is digified. It is not just your ordinary normal Safari, that's for sure. So it does look like a normal Safari, but it comes with all of this warning stuff on here that lets you know it's got a battery inside and that it does digital things. Instead of an ink window, we have a little LED indicator which we'll see light up when we have the pen charged. And there's the port here for the USB, which is how you would charge this pen. So why would you need to charge it? Well, this pen actually can record what you're writing in the notebook and then download it to the app for later consumption and whatnot. So I'll actually show how we do all of this step by step so that you could do it too. And this is my first time going through this, so I just happen to see somebody else using it, so I have a general idea, but I've never gone through this myself. So it's an exploration process for all of us. So you got the cable. I'm really hoping that this pen is already charged to begin with. Maybe just a little bit of juice because it's going to kind of put a damper in this whole unboxing. So we have the notebook here. This is the NeoLab notebook, also made in South Korea, like I said. It has 192 pages, of which are in the dot grid ruling. It has perforated pages, it has a pen loop, elastic band, kind of all the same accoutrement that you might see with most other journals out on the market right now. So we'll open this up here. It's got a nice, it's not exactly hardcover, nor is it very soft. It is a little bit pliable, so that's pretty cool. Then we have a little bookmark, which is a paper controller. So this is very interesting. I think you actually could select within the, so if you write with a particular color, you can actually write it in the app as that particular color. So we have some basic instructions here, a little nameplate for your, if it gets lost, I suppose. Lamy digital paper. And then we have contents and starts the dot grid stuff. Paper feels, it feels on the substantial side with like a little bit of that kind of cottony, linen sort of feel. It's nice. I think I'll like writing on this paper. I might even try throwing some fountain pens on it, but yet I know the fountain pens will not work with the digital technology, so it's not uploading anything. But I just would be curious to see if this paper is as ink proof as it says on the belly band that's here. It says ink proof acid-free paper. So, all right. And of course, I'm the type, I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type that likes looking at instruction manuals because I like doing things right the first time as opposed to doing it wrong, breaking something, then having to call customer support, then have them tell you that you should have read the manual. We have the quick start guide. There's a power on button on the opposite side of the barrel from where it says Lamy, so we could hit power on. While we have the pen charging, I am going to download the Neo Studio app and see if we need to set up anything here before we get the pen ready and go. So it says to download Neo Studio, which is on the Apple iStore or on Google Play. I could just look it up here, Neo Studio. We save our handwriting as it is here. So we're downloading it. Let's see. Let's open. Neo Studio wants to send me notifications. I guess we'll allow that here. So we could sign in. You sign in with Apple ID or with Google. Connect the Smart Pen to Bluetooth. And we have no pages to display. So we could hit press plus to create a new page. So let's do notebook. All right, so a new page has been added. That was pretty easy to set it up. I guess it just needs to connect now with the pen. So the pen connects via Bluetooth to the app. And then I should be able to see what it is I'm doing on the paper in the app. And we'll check that out. I actually connected with the app. It recognizes it because it finally has enough juice to, I guess, output a Bluetooth signal. So I will connect. Our Safari is connected. It's charging. It may just have just a little bit of juice in it, but I definitely want to test it out so that you could see how this works and that we're not here for hours waiting for this thing to fully charge, because when it does fully charge, it has an 11-hour writing battery life. So it says in the manual. On the step-by-step instruction manual here, I've done step 1, download the Neo Studio. Step 2, connect the pen to the Neo app. Now step 3, it says start to write. Now I'm going to see if this will work with it currently connected to USB power here, or it may not. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing along this paper that's here and just follow the lines, and let's see if it, oh, yep. Okay, so it downloaded the page. It actually downloaded the page that this belongs on, and I'm seeing it now in real time. So it knew based on just touching the page, what page, and that's pretty cool. I have to say that's really trippy. So I'm just going to follow the lines here. We are analog beings. Living in the digital environment. Seems to have missed at least a little bit here. No, actually, it did pretty well in capturing. It's just it's a very thin line. So maybe I could change the line thickness on this for the next line just to see. Yeah, there we go. So it does register the pressure that you put on it, but it's not extremely responsive to that. It's more if you want to see your lines show up thicker on the app, then you have to select a thicker line here in the app, which I think this is also what this little paper controller is all about here too, is that I could then switch the color. I'm switching the color to red. Let's see if we could do it in red now. No. No. That didn't quite work out the way I thought it was going to, but I think it's because maybe this is paired with the notebook and this is just a test part. Writing wise, this feels a lot like a Lamy Safari because of the grip section. This molded grip section feels right at home with me because I'm used to writing with the fountain pen all the time. However, everything else, including the attachment of the USB to the power bank here, is a little awkward. But I mean, I wouldn't normally have the USB attached, of course. Like I would have my cap put on the back end of the pen, which I'll probably do once it gets charged enough here. So that's a pretty bold font that's there. It's a little too bold for my taste, so I'm going to back it down to the second to thinnest one. Let's say if I try to vary the thickness here. So if I start off real thin and then pressed more, and then go back to thin and then press more. Yeah, you could definitely see a noticeable difference when you're pressing harder and then, not pressing as hard. So for fountain pen people, that might be, this is like usually how light I would write using my fountain pen. But like, let's say if I really wanted to make a dark mark, I could press harder, which is not necessarily the most comfortable thing to do, but at least you get like a thicker line on here. But thankfully though, you do have the option on here to switch the different lines. So I could go then just a size upward if I want a thicker line. And then on top of that, we have color options. So we could do colors. And let's say if I wanted this nice cool looking turquoise ink, I could then write that. Cool. All right, so there's a couple of things we could do with this too. So I'm gonna cap this right here for a second. And I wanted to see what else we could do. So you could transcribe, which is neat, and you could transcribe in a few different languages. Of course, we're going to do it only in English. So I have it here. Yeah, there it is. We are analog beings living in the digital environment. We connect your handwriting to the digital world to dream, create, and achieve more. So it read exactly. I mean, you do have to write clearly. So, I mean, that might be a struggle for some people. I mean, on my bad days, yeah, it would be a struggle for me too. But it did catch it pretty well, being that this is what you get, and then it turns into actual text. So that in itself, I think, is pretty valuable, because then you could go through your handwritten notes, digitize them, and then put them in a PDF that you could, let's say, do a quick control find and look for various words or keywords or topics. So that's pretty cool. Then you could also, from within the app, you could doodle with your finger, or you could also use the highlighter to then mark up various things that you wrote on there. And then also too is I think you can do this little lasso tool, right? You have a little lasso tool here that I could then circle around a piece of text and then move it to another area. So this is great for when you're, let's say, doing a mind mapping, or you're ideating and just kind of taking concepts that are separate but then grouping them together when they make sense. So that's pretty cool to be able to take pieces from around the page and then organize them and move them around after you're done writing with them. So, and then there's, of course, there's cool undo features here, so you could get rid of all of that nonsense that I put on the page. We have also, what seems like it's fun, is a handwriting replay. So you could replay your writing on the paper as like a movie, which is pretty neat. Let's say if you are in the process of just brainstorming, putting things on paper, that you could see the order that it happened and kind of trace your steps back to when you had the idea, or that moment where you just started to kind of go into it. And then I guess, I don't know. It's pretty cool though. I do have to say I'm pretty impressed with that. Then of course we have the ability to then tag this so that we could put it in our notebook in some way and then organize it. And then we have the ability to share and print it too. So that's all very neat. So I have that page saved in the app. So then I would definitely love to check out using this notebook too. So let's use it. So this notebook has got a ton of, and that's why I kind of thought it was like kind of like a laid sort of finish almost, where it was like these pages have like tons of texture about it. And I think it's these little tiny microdots that the camera picks up on that knows exactly where you are on the page. So it's not the actual dot grid, it's like small dots that are within the paper itself. So let's see, if I just start writing on a page, will it just know where I am? Let's post this Safari, see what we do when we start writing in this. So let's do hello. So it did bring up a new page. I'm noticing it missed one stroke. One stroke seemed to have just kind of, the other part of the H just went to the very top of the paper. But it still maintained my turquoise color that I have optioned here. And I think that's where I could actually use this paper controller, and then I could change the color. So I went to red. And I could switch to, let's say, green. I'm going to really challenge the handwriting to text conversion because I am writing now in script and in cursive, and so I'm going to see how well it will actually translate this. Let's go up here. Let's do a transcribe. Okay, so it says hello there. This is the Lamy Safari, and so instead of Ncode, it's N-O-O-D-E, Nude, from NeoLabs for Lamy. So it didn't get my, kind of my other version of an ampersand. I don't know what you call that character, but it didn't get that. It kind of translated into 4 instead of Lamy. That's pretty cool right there. And I could change, of course, the line width, and maybe go to purple. Let's say if I tapped the little bookmark, I added this to my favorites. And if I hit this, I think this is the share icon. So then I could brings up my menu on my phone to then share with, you know, I could airdrop it, I could copy, save the image, post it to Instagram, send it as a text message. I could do a whole bunch of different things with this. It recorded that this is the 4th page in the book, so this is page 004. It's really impressive that this thing, when you connect it to the paper that it's meant for, it knows exactly where it's putting this information, and then it's able to do this directly on the app. Now, this pen also doesn't need you to have the app going at the same time. So I could close off the app, and this pen will record all of this movements within the storage on the pen. So I could then just say, write. So I could write something like that. I could maybe scribble a little bit. So I open up my app, I see that the purple part that I wrote on the 2nd paragraph is now in the app. I think even if I do close it, so if I closed out this part, I'm gonna close out the Neo Studio app completely, so it's not on here anymore. But I have my pen is now not in the green mode, it is in the blue mode, which means what? It's still, the power is on. So if I write something, so I'm just gonna write down some features of this particular pen. Let's see if I could change the color, if that'll take there. Because you would want to change, if you change, like if you wrote a header, you might want to change, and then all the other bullet points could be a different color. So I figured it'd be cool to change the color. Now that I wrote with the app off, I've put down my pen, and when I load up the NeoLabs app, it actually will prompt me. It says, oh, it connected with the pen because the pen's still on. And it says that we want to transfer this data into Neo Studio. So it reads that I did some work in the Lamy digital paper notebook, and I also did it on the manual. So I'll hit transfer all. And so it's loading it. Right now it's taking the information via Bluetooth, transferring it to the NeoLab app. So before we were just looking at the number 4 page, and we did not have all of the stuff that's below where it says Lamy Safari Ncode digital writing set. So it did incorporate everything we just wrote on the same page. It did it in purple. So I think I did try to change it to blue without the app being on. and it didn't listen to me, which is okay. I'm going to allow some degree of like, you know, forgiveness on some things here. I didn't know whether or not that was going to work, but apparently you need to be in the app to change the colors of what you're writing with, I suppose. But yeah, it took all of the information that I had just scribbled into the notebook at the same level of the line thickness and the color that's when I left the notebook in the app. Now let's see if it'll do the transcribe. I'm just curious to see how well this will pan out with the transcription. Okay, so it did register that I wrote, let's see, whole world. When I did some scribbles, it didn't really kind of catch that. And yeah, I mean, charges by micro USB, 11 hours of writing in one charge. Notebook has 192 ivory pages in dot grid. Ncode camera sensor records your writing. Neo.lab's app converts writing to digital format. Convert handwriting text. So it does, you know, it does for the most part capture all of the writing that you have. And even though, let's say, I was being a little bit on the sloppier side, it still got the gist of what I was writing. So that's really, really is cool. Yeah, so that's it right there. I mean, you could then probably be able to set up your notebooks and create various ways of being able to organize your notebook and then be able to organize your notes within that notebook. I turned off the pen. I'm pretty sure that if I just left it, it would have turned off naturally on its own, but I did press and hold the power button that's on the one side, the flat side here, opposite of the Lamy logo. So then I could be able to charge this pen and have it ready for the next person that wants to use it, which may be you. So we'll get to that in just a second. All right, so you might be asking yourself, Tom, the pen is digital, but you're writing with an ink refill, right? So that has to, obviously, that can't be recharged via electricity. So you do have to replace it. It is replaceable by plucking it out the front end and using a Lamy M22 cartridge. This is the same cartridge that you would find on a Lamy Pico and other small pocket. I'm trying to think of what other ones. I know the Pico definitely uses it, but I'm trying to think of any other M22 type refills. Possibly the multi-pens, I think, do, like the Accent, the 4-in-1 pens. But all you'd have to do is just slide it on in here and then just push it down, and it catches fairly securely. So that's how you would just replace the refill. And on top of that, so if you wanted to write digitally in different colors, you just select here, but the 22 does come in different colors as well. So you have black, blue, and red, I believe. But other than that, it does faithfully give you that Safari experience. It does feel a little bit more weightier than your usual Safari pen because I think of all of the additional electronics that are involved in here. So it does feel different than a Safari fountain pen or a Safari ballpoint pen. Safari ballpoint pen for sure, because ballpoint pen would not have a cap, but it still has that same sort of familiarity and comfort with the grip section and the fact that it's made out of this matte finish ABS plastic, and that it's got the other aspects of the Lamy, which is you have the clip and the other design details on here. The notebook comes with a nice little pen loop so that you could put the pen on here, so that, because these things are meant for each other, they're built for each other. One can't really be used without the other. I mean, let's say you can use the pen on any other writing surface and it still will act as a pen. However, it won't be the digital experience of being able to upload it to the NeoLab app. Being that I did desecrate this notebook and that I've used this pen already, I can't obviously put it back on the shelf. So I have to give it away, naturally. In order to give this away, I'm going to give this as an opportunity for our YouTube subscribers and followers to win this notebook, or to enter for a chance to win this notebook, is comment below with your favorite sci-fi movie of all time. And we'll pick a random comment out of that in a week after this video gets posted. And that person will win this particular set that I used. So you'll get all my notes in here, the little notes I scribbled and everything. And I'll make sure to fully charge it for you so that it'll be ready to use as soon as you get it. That's your review and unboxing and demonstration of the Lamy, Safari, and NeoLab's Ncode digital writing set. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them also in the comments below, or you could also find this item on goldspot.com. So you'll find this set on goldspot.com for $189. The pen itself, if you want to purchase that separately, is $169. And to refill with more copies of this notebook with the digital paper, it is $27 for each notebook. So I think it's definitely within the limits of what we normally would consider in the writing industry as, you know, that this is what we would see as a very premium type of product. And for what the utility that you could get out of it, sure, the Safari in a fountain pen is a $37 retail pen. And sure, when you gut it out and put electronics in it, it's going to cost more. And that's what one would expect. And especially since you could use this in the capacity of digitizing your notes and being able to really kind of blend analog and digital in this new and exciting way, I think it's definitely worth it. And I mean, $27 for a notebook, that's usually what you would be paying for a lot of premium notebooks anyway. So I feel like it's a pretty cool set for somebody who really does appreciate still appreciates analog and wants to create and ideate in analog, but also needs to use a lot of digital tech kind of methods where you're sending notes to people, you're transcribing them into something that you could search in, like, let's say Evernote or other apps that you could then port this information to via PDF and other files. It does allow you to then distribute your information from an analog source to a digital realm, which I think is pretty cool. It's very new for a company that is as modernized as Lamy and wants to take it to that extra level. Enter for a chance to win this set by leaving a comment below and let us know what your favorite sci-fi movie of all time is. If you'd like to check out another digital writing solution, I did also do a review and a demonstration of the Rocketbook in this video here. Or if you'd like to just see some awesome, like good old-fashioned fountain pens that Lamy makes, you can check out our review of the Lamy 2000 here. Subscribe to the Goldspot Pens channel for more fine writing videos, demonstrations, unboxings, and more. Thank you for watching and staying good, my friends. Take care.